Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're lucky enough to have the internet, I hope you're watching this on Foxborough Cable Access's website, www.fcatv.org. And welcome to this edition of Fall Sports Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the fall sport of marching band. My name is Rick Plasmati. I'm your host. And with me tonight are the two senior drum majors for this upcoming year, Maria Navedo and Sam Plasmati. So welcome to the show. Congratulations on becoming drum majors for this year. And this is quite a media day for you. You've got the TV show, and then in the Reporter, the Foxborough Reporter today, there was a full-page article, a front-page picture, and another picture on the editorial page. So for those out in the audience, if you get today's date, which is August 28th, the Foxborough Reporter, pages 1, 4, and 10, you'll see a nice spread of pictures on the marching band and marching band camp, and a nice article by Frank Mortimer. Let's start in. Maria, tell me what it's like to be a drum major after all the years that you've been involved in the music program.
Well, first of all, it's a very big honor because I'd been looking forward to this and not really expecting it, but it always seemed like a very great honor, and I always highly respected the drum majors. And they were always very good leaders, so it was very honoring to be chosen as somebody who could then have that kind of influence on a younger person.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I mean, just since freshman year, it's just really been, you've always been looking up to the drum majors, and I just think it's a great honor to be in that position to have younger kids looking up to us now.
At what point in your music careers, was it as freshmen or perhaps in middle school, did you think, gee, maybe that's something that I'd like to do?
Well, I don't know. I'd always wanted to be in the band, and that was my foremost concern, get into the band.
Yeah.
Because my brother was in the band, so it seemed
Everyone
like
in your family was in the band, right?
Yeah. It always seemed like something I wanted to be a part of. But I'm not sure. I guess it kind of evolved over time,
Yeah.
but there wasn't really a definite start.
It's just something you saw the drum majors as some couple of special seniors. It's always seniors, yes. That the two of them exhibited a lot of leadership qualities and assisted everybody in bringing the whole program together.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam? When did you start thinking or noticing that, gee, this is quite an honor, that position?
Well, honestly, going into freshman year, I really didn't know what to expect in band. I didn't really know how the whole marching band process would work. But the drum majors that year, Phil DeCanzio and Mackenzie Viventi, they really, I think they did a great job embracing the freshman class and just helping us along and really bringing us into the band culture. And I mean, just from that point on, I've just really gotten into band, and I guess just
I know
looked up to the drum majors.
I'm sure for both of you, in the different components of the music program, it's taken up an awful lot of your time and energy during high school. Maria, I know that you are in the jazz ensemble. Certainly everybody in the concert band and wind ensemble are in the marching band.
Right.
What else are you involved in at the high school?
Well, last year I participated in the a cappella choir as well, which was a new experience, unexplored realm.
Had you ever sung as part of a group before?
No. It was the first time, kind of an adventure, and it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Are you doing that again this year?
Depends on time conflicts.
Yeah.
But I hope so.
Good. Wind ensemble?
Yep. Wind ensemble and concert band and jazz. But for music, those are what I'm doing.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, I do concert band, wind ensemble, marching band, all that, and then I also do the symphony orchestra.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I did jazz band my sophomore year.
Right. Okay. Very good. You two should have a lot to be proud of, because I think everybody in certainly the viewing audience and the high number of people from the town who come into any of these concert performances know that it's a very high level of excellence that Mr. Massey and his staff bring forth out of all the students. Did you ever think? I mean, well, you've got older brothers who have participated.
Right.
So let's move over to you instead. You talked about coming in as a freshman and not knowing what to think about marching band, but what about the level of music that the entire program puts out?
Really, it's really pretty amazing, the music that the program creates. I mean, I guess I didn't notice it as much when I was starting out at the very beginning, because from that point on, we were right away exposed to exceptional music. I think you really start to notice it when we travel and see other schools perform, what a level of excellence the Foxborough program is putting forth.
I know at the MICA Festival, the adjudicators generally rank Foxborough very highly, and several components of the program have gotten gold awards and performed at Symphony Hall or out in Worcester at Mechanics Hall. And a number of the adjudicators have mentioned, I think one last year said that he had done this type of adjudication around the world. I think he mentioned Paris and South America and Brazil, and he said that this group was right up there among the top that he's seen in the world. So
we're very honored that he thought that.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned various trips that you've gone on, and certainly there are those in Massachusetts, like the MICA and this and that. But Maria, tell me about some of the trips that the band itself has gone on. There's an annual trip in the spring, is it?
Right, for the wind ensemble, that is. Right, and that it's usually a 4 or 5 day trip. We've gone to, or at least I've gone to Williamsburg, Virginia, and Toronto, Canada, and last year, New York City.
New York City, right.
New York City.
What did you think? What was your, of the three?
Probably my favorites would be Williamsburg. There was a lot of, well, I really liked Leaves, so it was.
They have plenty down there.
Yeah, but
in fact, I have some in my lawn if you have some spare time.
yeah. No, it was just because it was very pretty down there. Lots of grass and trees.
Yeah. Did you get to look at the Colonial Williamsburg as
Yeah.
part of the tour?
Yeah. So to
It's
see that,
beautiful down there.
it was very pretty.
Sam, how about yourself?
My personal favorite would probably have to be the Canada trip, which was our sophomore year.
Sophomore year.
Yeah. I just really enjoyed going. It was a longer trip than some of the other ones, and I really just enjoyed being in a new area, a new culture, and just experiencing that. And I really
when you
had a
were a
good time.
freshman, where was that, William?
That was
Yeah.
Williamsburg. Yeah, Canada was definitely an experience, a cultural experience.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
interesting.
And Toronto's a very international city,
Right.
very diverse. Let's move away from the past and onto the future. So here we are as drum majors. You were each named to be this year's drum majors by Mr. Massey at some point in the spring.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about that. I think, was it around Founders Day?
It was,
Yeah.
Somewhere
yeah,
around there?
It was
around
yeah.
Founders Day. Yeah.
Top
during
secret
that.
information.
It was basically the week preceding Founders Day, right?
Around that time.
Around that time.
And so after the, is it the Founders Day parade, is that the last performance that
Right.
each year, that's the last performance of that year's drum majors?
Yes.
And then you also spent some time in the summer out at UMass in something called Drum Major Academy.
Right.
Yes.
Sam, want to talk about it?
Well, Drum Major Academy is a camp program run by George N. Parks, who is one of the premier drum majors in the country, if not the world, I would say. And really,
Drum majors or drum major educators?
I'd say both.
He still wants to be drum major at heart, I think, so
he's getting a little old,
holding
though.
on to that by being
How
a
old
drum
is he?
major instructor.
I'd say he's 50,
Yeah.
around that age.
Mm-hmm.
But
Very lively.
yeah, he's still got some pep in his step. And so we went to that camp. It was from Saturday evening to Wednesday morning.
Right.
And so we went. Each day consisted of conducting training, We had some marching instruction and some marching competitions. We broke into squads and got a little feel of a close group working together, and marching, conducting, and some leadership training as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam, nice introduction. Maria will carry on from there and tell me about the instruction, the leadership instruction.
The leadership instruction, it was very focused. It happened during all the different instructions. So even during conducting, there would be a little bit of leadership lesson in there.
What type of? Give me an example of a leadership lesson.
Basically, the band works towards an idea where you kind of lift up the underclassmen instead of hazing, which goes around and happens in many colleges and universities. We try to lift up the underclassmen and bring them up to our level by encouraging them and supporting them, and that helps build loyalty, as well as it just provides a better transition from middle school into high school, and it makes them feel better about themselves instead of worse.
Probably makes you feel better bringing someone up
Right.
and into the group rather than the hazing, which
Separates people.
separates people
It's
and
a
really
win-win
doesn't do anybody
situation.
any good. Now, what about the? You said it broke into groups,
Squads.
squads.
Yep.
How many people were at the academy?
It was
400?
400, around
Yep.
400.
And each squad was comprised of how many people?
6 people.
Yeah, 6.
They were essentially randomly selected and placed in squads.
Yeah.
So, but each pair of drum majors stays together.
No.
No.
They want to split us up so that we could each kind of work on our own drum major
And have our own
abilities.
experience.
Right. So if we work together, then it kind of, we develop as a team. We kind of have to work on our own abilities ourselves and then bring them together.
Yeah. There were points where we would come together and work
Uh-huh.
on conducting together.
Yeah.
And would they point out your successes as well as perhaps your shortcomings? Not that you,
Yes.
Yes.
everyone else's
Yes.
shortcomings.
Well,
not-
yeah, everyone at the camp, every student at the camp, they would actually videotape our conducting
Critique.
and critique it. They would have a staff member critique everyone's conducting and say what we were doing well.
on the tape as they were taping.
Oh,
Well, we would all review. We would break into groups of about 20,
right.
and then they would play everyone in that group's conducting on the TV, and the staff member would critique it in front of the group and just point out what they were doing, what the student was doing well, and what the student could work on to improve.
Do they give you those tapes? No.
No.
So the essence of the Drum Major Academy is to give you the skills that you'll need on an individual basis, and then leave it to the two of you and each individual school's music program to bring you two together in order to bring everybody together.
Right.
That's a very good idea. So that was beginning of August,
Yes.
correct?
The 2nd to the 6th, I believe.
And then, was it last week?
Yep.
The Drum Major Camp last week, which would have been
Marching band
Marching
camp.
band camp.
Marching Band Camp was third week of August.
Right.
Yep.
18th through the 22nd.
All right, now I know those are triple sessions, and I think they are, is it 9 to 11, 12 to 2,
Yep.
5:30
Right.
to 8:30?
That's correct.
So that's a very long day.
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that some, if not most, of the band members go home at least during one of those break times.
Yeah.
Right. Most people stay for the
Lunch
11 to 12 break, which is lunch.
Yeah.
And then most people go home between
2 and-
2 and 5:30.
Yeah.
But you two, well, I know one of you, you'd be up at the parking lot, because I know it's on a nice black asphalt parking lot in the middle of summer, so it's very
Right.
comfortable. Be up there around 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you wouldn't get home till around 9:30 or so.
Right.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
And Maria, tell me walk me through a typical day.
So, all right, it's going to be long, but
Walk me through an abbreviated version of a
Okay.
typical day.
Sam and I usually get there at 8, and we set up water tables, name tags on screen. And then most of the section leaders and freshmen are very good about getting there around 8:30, 8:45. We start at 9, do marching fundamentals, which are mainly to help the freshmen, but they're also to kind of like a touch-up for upperclassmen who still need to like relearn a couple things. And then we usually have a game at the end, like a march-off or a game of Medusa, which is always very popular. And then,
Which is?
oh, Medusa, you want to explain?
All right, Medusa. Well, one of the basic fundamental ideas of marching band is that when you go to a position called the attention, you cannot move your body at all, and the attention position is like so.
Hands up. Yeah.
And then, so the student, we have this. We call all the students to the attention and tell them they cannot move their body, they cannot change their facial expression at all. And then we get some funny upperclassmen to come out of the crowd and go around and try to scare, make them laugh, or just do anything they can to make the freshmen and underclassmen change their facial expression.
Yeah.
And if they change their expression, then they're out, and we just play until.
Just one and then does that person get a prize or anything?
They get to salute.
Salute everyone else.
But it's the ultimate test of self-control.
Yeah.
So if you saw the paper today, did you get to see the full page? And then down in the corner, were those people at attention, or were they playing their imaginary instruments?
They were actually working on marching fundamentals.
Okay.
If they had been playing Medusa, feet together, no movement at all. But they were actually marching. So we're working on fundamentals for that.
But even while we're marching, we try to get them to keep their faces and upper bodies at attention. So just by teaching them to stay focused and without changing their expression at once in one position, that helps them stay that way while they're marching as well.
Is there a point in a performance that they're going to be at that attention position? No, it's just for fundamentals.
Well, at least with brass, you kind of have to hold the instrument like this.
Oh, right, yeah.
So this is for brass. Woodwinds do different things depending on the instrument, but for the most part, you don't really hold that attention position. It's just what to do when you don't have your instrument.
Gotcha. And then that was the morning session?
Yep.
And then let's go for the middle session from you.
The afternoon session from 12 to 2 is the sectional portion of the day, where each section of the band, percussion, mellophones, low brass, clarinets, flutes, saxophones, etc., will break off, and each individual section will go to a different area of the school grounds, and the section leaders will try to help teach and drill the music so that that section will be ready to play it and memorize the music for the night rehearsals.
So for that full 2 hours, it's sectionals.
It's just working on the music.
And the section leaders can be any class, or, well, not freshmen, or could they be?
Not freshmen usually. Usually anywhere from sophomore,
Sophomores.
junior, or senior.
Were you two section leaders?
Sophomores. Yeah.
So, and then each year after that, yes?
Yep.
And then the evening session, 5:30 to 8:30.
Yep.
What happens at that?
Well, first of all, we have to teach, Mr. Massey does the teaching, we just run the rehearsals. He teaches the basic sets, which is the movements you do. It's on the, so.
Want to hold that up?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can get a shot of this. This is a
coordinate sheet,
and you can see that it's actually a notebook that you can hold that still and he'll change the camera. That has all kinds of symbols on it, and you can see the general design on it. So each the ones that you two are using has everybody?
Yep. Each person is assigned a number, and
one of these numbered dots.
Right, is a numbered dot. And so in order to get from this page to the next page, you need to have a certain number of counts, a certain number of beats for a person to move to the next point.
Yeah.
So what Mr. Massey has to teach them is how to get from one picture to the next picture. And that's really the trick.
And each performer has their own sheet?
Right.
Just for themselves individually.
Right.
And they're supposed to learn this before coming to camp?
No, we
this
learn.
Is what we teach them.
We learn the coordinates during the night rehearsals.
So
we
they
give
don't
it to
get
them on
it
the first
until
day.
the first day.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And so there's for this year's show, there are 34 pages of movement. And so each student is responsible for learning these 34 movements.
Yep.
And that makes up the halftime show.
While you are conducting, in addition to conducting,
Right.
are you also looking to see if everyone's position is correct?
Well, we're supposed to keep an eye out for the position, but our main job, I guess you would call it, at that point is to make sure the music is correct and make sure that people are rehearsing in a very efficient, right, focusing.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure instruments are up so that the rehearsal goes by quickly and we're not wasting time because people are getting tired.
Right.
Because everybody gets tired. Everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
And
doubt.
It's hard work, so
strenuous.
it's understandable.
It's very, very understandable.
So at the end of the week, what I have been amazed at for the 4 years that I've been involved to whatever parental degree, it's always amazing to me, and I think to everyone else, how after 1 week of these triple sessions, really after the first day, how the entire band comes together, is performing this amazing music, and by the end of the week, the music is all memorized, right? And the marching patterns. What was the word you?
The coordinates?
The coordinates are all memorized, and by the end of the week, they're out there, and it's a very nice performance. Now there are, I think, 5 home games this year. So is it 5 home games plus Thanksgiving? Or
Yeah.
So at what point will you begin performing at halftime? Will it be the first home game or maybe the second?
Well, actually, the first home game this year is September 12th, which I believe is the earliest
It's ever been.
it's ever been.
Yeah.
So we've really been trying to push the students this year, and so we can try and work efficiently and hopefully be able to play at that game. But if not, then we will be able to play at the second game, which is October 3rd.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
actually the homecoming game.
Oh, yeah, that's always a big crowd.
Right.
And then at Thanksgiving, it's over in Mansfield.
It is in Mansfield this year.
What surprised you? No, we always start with you. We'll start with you. What surprised you during this week? Surprised you about yourself, and surprised you about the band as a whole?
Honestly, it was just surprising to be on the other side because the last 3 years I've been out on the pavement looking at the drum major and listening what to do, and just wearing a big drum. And so this year I was up on the podium trying to conduct and teach the underclassmen, tell them what to do, and I think that it was just the reversal of roles was just kind of a strange experience, I'd say.
I have a feeling that you're both going to be very successful at this.
Thank
Did
you.
you think that you would be? I think you have to rate, let's say, marching band camp as a success, yes?
Definitely.
Yeah. No, the students definitely pulled through. It's very good.
What surprised you, or a light bulb went on over your head during the week about yourself and about the group as a whole?
Well, I guess about the group as a whole, I really realized that a lot of the success of the entire band is owed directly to the section leaders, not so much the drum majors. I mean, we teach the stuff, but it's really the section leaders who actually put the stuff in motion. They reinforce, and they're the ones who really do the dirty work, if to call it that.
And work directly with
Right.
the freshmen and underclassmen.
Because they run the sectionals, that they're the squad leaders when we break up the band that we have into squads. They're the ones who really do a lot of the reinforcing. So I was really surprised to see just how well they did, because it was very, very well done.
Now, Sam, sorry.
It's okay.
You for the first 3 years of your marching band career, you played the quads.
I did.
And you play the sax out on the field. What are you going to miss about that, or does it seem strange to be standing up on a podium when someone else is taking your spot, or what has been your spot for 3 years prior?
Honestly, I didn't really realize how much I missed playing out in the field until the end of band camp last week. When I looked over and just saw how the quads and the percussion line, it was just, I mean, they're really shaping up to be a good line this year, and I mean, it's just weird not being part of it.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Well, I always miss the, what I realized this week at least, was that I missed the really big, powerful sections of the music when I could, in the past years, just be able to blow, play really loud and confidently and just like kind of let everything loose, versus right now I don't get to experience that. And it's really a powerful feeling when you have 80 kids all on the field together, and we're all have one goal, men and women together, one goal to create the powerful sound. And that was always a really exciting experience, so I'll miss that.
There must be some performances that it all clicks, and it's like you're in the zone, and everybody on the field is in the zone, and it just must feel so good.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
I hope that happens.
I'm sure it will. Another important part about being in the marching band is looking good. And we have two hats, helmets, caps? Hats on our table, as you can see. But we also have a couple of models from the music program to show off the new Foxborough Marching Band uniforms. So if you two could come out here, don your hats, and we have Griffin Vacheron and Julia DeCanzio, also both seniors. Now, the great part of these uniforms is that I believe they're the first new uniforms for the band in 25 or 30 years.
Yeah, almost 30
so
years.
I know the previous uniforms, while you couldn't see it from the audience, there was all kinds of stitches and holes being patched and whatnot. So Griff, come towards me, stand there and face that camera. Julia, how about right next to him and face that camera there. You can see that these are really sharp uniforms. Julia, I think you were saying to me earlier that because this is the first year for these new uniforms, each band member had it fitted to them. That's tremendous. Mm-hmm. And yet, because they will have a long life, they're also fully adjustable. Turn around, we'll see that the sash, or cape, I believe it's called, over the right shoulder. A very nice touch.
Modeled directly after the University of Michigan Marching Band.
Which somebody we know goes there.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
And that would be?
My brother goes to the University of Michigan.
Another thing that I definitely want to point out is that the uniforms were funded by some extraordinarily generous contributions by two families in town, Judy and Larry Harrington, and John and Janet Spinney. So we want to thank them from the bottom of our hearts. And the key to the success of keeping the uniforms in this sharp condition is never launder them.
Right. Don't clean them.
Don't clean them, don't wash them, don't send them to the cleaners, because there
are certain chemicals that the laundromats use that we can't exactly use with these. So when we get them mass cleaned at the end of the year, they'll use chemicals that don't taint or make the uniforms lose their color.
So it's like an annual cleaning.
Right.
Yep.
These are really top of the line uniforms, like the best money can buy. Mm-hmm. And so they last in good condition for a full year. Like the old uniforms, we'd have to get them dry cleaned basically after every game.
Right.
But these ones, we can wear them the whole season and then just bring them all into one dry cleaner during the summer and clean them all at once.
For a good deal.
Are they comfortable?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you don't have, it's not under your contract to speak, so just nod. Okay, thank you very much, Julia and Griffin. Thank you
you,
very
guys.
much. You were wonderful. I see a career on Broadway for each of you. Now, we also have the T-shirts.
Yep.
Each year, the marching band, thank you. Very nicely done. We didn't even notice. Each year, the marching band has a brand new T-shirt modeled after the theme of the halftime performance.
Yep.
Now, on your screen, you just saw, and may see again, that this title of the show this year, Late in the Evening, which is a Paul Simon
It is.
Right.
show, song.
Song.
And can you tell me about the design at all?
Well, the design is based off of the 3 different songs that we have. There's Late in the Evening, which is kind of a tropical
Dance party.
dance party, which is why we have the fireworks and the palm trees. And then
Is that a mountain?
yep,
That's,
for Call of the Mountain,
Which is
The
which
opening
is
tune.
the opening tune.
and is that a classical or a traditional marching band piece?
More of an orchestral.
Yeah, very
Course.
orchestral song. And then our last song, Take the A Train, is also a very stylized piece. It's not orchestral, but it's very complex as well.
jazz.
Great
A
song
jazz
too.
piece, yes.
Great song. Now, is that?
That's the train
Oh,
at
there's
the
a
bottom.
train there. Okay, sorry. I
Yep.
need new glasses, so I couldn't quite tell. Now, who designed that?
Well, originally it was my mom. My mom's idea. My mom, and then Nick Walsh, a person who graduated a couple years
2
ago.
years ago?
Yep, 2 years ago, I think. He actually did this on Photoshop. So
That's great.
yep, free draw
That's
stuff.
great. And also, so
We also have the names of every member of the marching band.
Yep.
So in years to come, they'll be able to look back and remember what they did.
and who led them? In case they forget, your names are right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We've talked about the honor that both of you feel
Yes.
was bestowed upon you. The responsibility, I think, came out of both of you without saying so, that you recognize the importance of the drum major position and what it means to the rest of the band.
Yeah.
We talked about the Drum Major Academy
Right.
and the marching band camp. What do you see as the challenges in this drum major capacity going forward from now until at least Thanksgiving and perhaps playoffs
Well,
For this year.
for
yeah,
this year?
For this year, I think one of our main goals, I would say, to strive for is to see that the students get as much out of the process as they do out of the final product.
And what do you mean by that?
We feel that by working this hard, because the students are really working very hard to reach this goal, and just by working this hard and we're all working as a group together, it's really building character, and we think that is just as important as having an excellent performance at the end of the week. So that's one of the top goals of ours, and we hope to reach that goal.
Same for you, or anything else that you see as a big challenge going forward?
Well, one of the other big challenges we have is trying to really perform our best, because it's very easy to settle for what we can already do at any level that we're at. It's always easy to just say, okay, that's good enough. But what we're striving for is to always be better, to find a smaller detail to work on. Maybe getting to your spot in just the right amount of steps and getting there just so that it's very, I don't know.
Very just together.
Right.
You can always be excellent, but you can always also improve.
Right. There's always room for improvement, and so getting the students and getting ourselves
Right.
as well to work to that and to always strive to improve is going to always be a goal for us, I think.
It's a never-ending process.
Right.
Do you it was a good question, but it's gone, so we'll ask another one. do you see how any of what you're doing as drum majors will impact either the jazz ensemble or the concert band or the wind ensemble or the what's the other wind symphonic winds or the symphony orchestra? How do you see this experience, both for yourselves and for the other members of the program?
Well, I think marching band is the first thing we do as a band together. And I think it's a great tool to bring the freshmen and the underclassmen into the band culture and bring them together. And because during marching band, we're out there for, 35 hours in 1 week during the summer, then you automatically bond with these people because you're with them all day. And that way, on the first day of school, we all know each other. Everyone there knows 80 other kids automatically. And that way, we don't have to spend the first 2 months getting to know each other. We're already one unit, one team, and so once we get to concert band, jazz, orchestra season, we already know each other. We all find it easy to work with each other, and we already have a culture that we have bonded with already.
In terms of music as well, it's also, marching band's a great way to start off the year because you have to start right away from the first day of marching band camp, and even back in the sectionals, which the sectional year is held during the summer. From the very first day, you work towards playing with a big sound, very full and very, like I said, full sound. And then from there, you can work towards playing more stylistically and playing more beautifully, which comes with the concert band and the symphonic winds and wind ensemble. That's what those three groups work on. Marching band works on getting a good basic sound, and without that basic sound, you can't really build up to the beautiful, sophisticated playing unless you have a very large, full sound to work with. Like with clay. If you don't start out with a thing, you can't really mold it to get anywhere. So that's what we work on in marching band.
Are you already aware of the music that you'll be playing in these other other groups?
We've
heard some rumors.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any input, or is it strictly
No.
the
staff
administration?
Decides. Right.
Yeah. Okay. And when does rehearsal and practice for these other groups start?
We switch over to concert band October 1st, I believe.
Yeah, sometime in the first week of October. It depends on how the marching band's doing in terms of visually and musically.
So the marching band rehearses weekly.
In the morning as well, for the month of
First
September.
period.
First period every day?
Yep.
And then one night a week?
Every Tuesday night.
Right.
Up through at some point in October. And then you stop rehearsing marching band and move into these other wind ensemble concert. Wind ensemble probably later?
A bit later.
Yeah.
We start with full concert
Concert band and jazz.
Jazz begins at the beginning
I
of
think-
the year.
Yeah, because jazz, I think, has its first concert
November.
in November.
I think it was 17 last year. So very early in the year.
Huh.
But we still continue to have marching band rehearsals prior to every game on Friday afternoons.
Yes.
Right.
Out on the field.
Yeah.
And throughout the year, throughout the course of the fall, I know that Mr. Massey, Mr. Murphy, et cetera, are out there critiquing, commenting, trying to get more improvement. Maybe someone needs to turn a different way. Or
Yeah.
during the summer, or from the point when you knew that you were going to be drum majors for this year until, say, till now, what interactions have you had with Mr. Massey?
We've had meetings with him. The two of us have met together with him just to discuss we worked on conducting with him after DMA, Drum Major Academy. The two of us met with him to work on conducting a more stylized, personal help, I would say. And we've just met with him over the course of the summer.
To discuss leadership as well.
And just how the band is doing and the direction that we're taking.
Yeah.
How much input do you two have in what, I know, let's take, for example, last year when Caitlin was conducting
Hey, Pachuco.
Pachuco. and Jose twirled Jenny over his shoulder now,
Yeah.
and they had the headbands and the red hats and all that. What do you two work together to figure out something colorful, or
Mr.
how do
Massey,
you-
Suggests,
Yeah.
make suggestions, but ultimately I think he leaves it up to the two of us
oh yeah, he
to
has
come up with the ideas.
a lot of ideas going into marching band camp and a lot of ideas going into the season in general. But he usually goes with that, and I think for the most part we agree because
Yeah,
he has pretty good ideas.
he knows what
he's
he's
the
doing.
boss.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He does know what he's doing. I mean, the whole program, the town, in fact, is extraordinarily fortunate to have him at the helm here because,
Yeah.
Reflecting back to what I said earlier about the world class, it is definitely well known throughout the music world, particularly the educational music world. What a fine program we have here. I know I mentioned Micah Festival and performing at Symphony Hall and at the Mechanics Hall out in Worcester. Maria, I know that the Symphony Hall in your career has been twice?
Yeah, twice, and then last year we went to Mechanics Hall in Worcester.
So that's pretty darn good over a 3-year period. What are your thoughts on those 3 performances?
Oh, well, always playing at Symphony Hall is an honor, because playing there, it's a very well-made hall. The acoustics are unbelievable,
And you can tell that from on the stage?
well, more from listening to the other bands go beforehand, because usually there are some very good bands that
Yeah.
play there.
Well, they're all good.
Right. And so for us to then go on and know that that's the sound, or a sound similar to that, is what we're going to be getting when we play is a very special feeling. And Mechanics Hall was the same, but it was just a smaller hall.
Right.
And I think more suited for smoother, softer music, but still was a very, very fun experience.
Sam, anything you want to add?
Just the same thing. Just the fact that we have this world-class symphony hall 40 minutes away that we have access to is just mind-numbing.
Yeah, and to think of being a high school freshman, or in fact, the middle school at
Right.
times has performed in there, and to be in there performing where some of the greats in musical history have performed, it's
Yeah.
the equivalent of a little leaguer playing at Fenway Park or
Right.
Yankee Stadium.
I mean, it's something I think all of us will remember for the rest of our lives.
And
Yeah.
your parents.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Let's talk about musical interests. If you aren't up there playing, what kind of music do you like to listen to?
Personal music interests. Well,
Yes.
I like a lot of world music. So
Examples?
I've listened to the Bulgarian Women's Choir. Has a
Love
very
them.
different way of singing, but I find it very interesting. And then I like klezmer music.
Really?
And of course jazz and classical.
Uh-huh.
Very different forms of classical. So
If I gave you, what is it, $15 now, right now, what CD would you go out and buy?
right now I would buy my own copy of the Chris Potter CD, because right now I have it off of iTunes, but the hard copy is always nice to have. Chris Potter plays tenor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Sam, what about yourself? What do you like to listen to?
I personally like to listen to a lot of alternative music or rock and roll.
Uh-huh. Such as who?
I like Rush, Coheed and Cambria, System of a Down,
Uh-huh.
Buckethead.
Buckethead. You gotta love Buckethead. Now, you both have played jazz. You both have played traditional marching band music. Some of the very complicated, either historical and well-known classical pieces, as well as some that have been written specifically for the Foxborough Music Program
Right.
and premiered. What type of music do you like to play? from a performance, a high school music program performance, what is your favorite type of music to perform?
I know in like concert band or wind ensemble, whenever I find out that we're playing a Granger piece, I always get excited. I just really like his music. But I'd say my favorite piece that we've played thus far through my high school career was Vicious Circles, a Mark Miller piece. It was 3 movements, and I was playing timpani on that, and it was just a really intricate part. It was just really fun to play, and I just really loved that piece and got into it.
I think was there a pretty long timpani section in that? Yeah.
A very deep, meaningful piece.
Right. Yeah.
And well, for me, it would have to be Russian Christmas music. I forget who wrote it as of right now, but
that was great.
Yeah.
Was that 2
I think it was
Christmas
2 years
seasons
ago.
ago?
Yep.
That was a great concert that year.
Thank
I think
you.
everyone in the audience, after it was over, just kind of sat there and went, "Wow,
It's a very
that was
powerful
the best
piece.
we've
Right.
heard."
Yeah.
What about performing on your own? If you're at home, what do you play?
I try to play with a lot of Cannonball Adderley. He plays jazz and blues a lot. And
So do you put on a CD and play along with it? Or?
Yeah. Or, well, I put on my iTunes list and play along with that.
Sorry.
It's much easier.
You guys are much more modern than me. How about you?
Well, if I'm home, just playing on the drum set, I guess I like to play. I'd plug in Red Hot Chili Peppers or Coheed and Cambria or Rush or something. Just play along with that.
Now, is there a different? I'm not sure what's the difference in the things you need to know between playing timpani or any of the other percussion instruments on the stage and being down in the basement banging away?
It's more or less 2 different worlds. I mean, drum set. I've taken lessons with Ed Sorrentino on just drum set playing, and I've also taken lessons with Donnie Albro, who's going to be another staff member, another conductor this year. We're all very thankful about that.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I've taken lessons from him on classical playing, and it really is just 2. There are things that you use in both, but it's 2 separate worlds, I'd say.
Now you are, pardon me for saying this, a phenomenal jazz instrumentalist.
Thank you.
When you're home, do you just experiment or just riff away, or do you predominantly find a piece and try to match what, for instance, Cannonball Adderley is playing?
Well, when I'm working on the music that we do in Jazz Ensemble, most of the time I have a tendency of just playing along with the recording and trying to match that rather than developing my own sound, which is something I have to work more on. And indeed, improvisation goes along with working on your own sound, so I have to make sure to remind myself to spend a lot of time improvising and less time just playing what I see, because I tend to go with what I'm comfortable, which is visual learning.
Now, during a jazz ensemble performance, with or without a special guest star coming in, when Mr. Massey pulls you out onto the stage into the front, do you know what you're going to play when you're up there, or you just kind of let yourself wander around and go with it?
Most of the time I have maybe one lick or one riff, one phrase that I like to play, and the rest is let's go.
That's excellent. That's tremendous. Let's see. Let's talk about non-music for a sec. You're both entering your senior years next week. What is your goal for the senior year?
Get into college.
Yeah.
Is a good goal, and try and stay focused, because I know senioritis is bound to hit me at some point, and I just hope it hits me after I get accepted somewhere. So non-musically, those are my goals.
Senioritis generally hits in the spring sometime,
Yeah.
once the snow's gone and the blossoms are coming out on the trees. How about you, Sam? What is your goal for this coming year?
Survive. No, I'm just kidding. Just school. Just go through school and
Continue
continue
what you've
going
done
through
for
school.
3 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, how about after? I know you both are looking at college.
Yeah.
I know that usually this, again, I think I mentioned it earlier. Usually, this show is produced a little bit later in the season, so people have a better idea as to what they're looking at. But different schools you're looking at,
You gotta go.
Sam?
All right.
And, majors, are you going to play music? Are you going to be involved in organized or just, playing around?
Right. Well, I'd say as of now, I'd like to go to a smaller liberal arts college for college. I really like Swarthmore in Pennsylvania, and as of now, I think I'd maybe look to a history major, possibly something in English, but I'd like to continue playing orchestral music or band music in college.
Maria?
Well, in terms of majors, kind of leaning towards biology and a language. Right now it's Japanese, but
Have you ever taken it before?
no, but I kind of am familiar with it. But in order to continue playing, I have been looking around places that were around here, like Tufts and Boston University and Brown. But I don't think those are going to work because they're a little too small. I'm almost the opposite. I want to go to a big university. So
You probably are going to have to go to a bigger school if you want to take Japanese.
right. So the Big Ten schools. Actually, Mr. Massey recommended to me the Big Ten schools to look into. So might end up going somewhere out there.
Boy, pretty exciting, huh? Pretty exciting and nerve-wracking this time of year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to get working on the applications and the references and all that kind of
Essays.
stuff. Essays, references, more essays.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Good times.
Oh yes.
Now, throwing out music, what has been the highlight of your non-musical high school career?
Well, I guess for me, non-musical and outside of the school. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. It would have to be volunteering at a Mansfield Animal Shelter because I really like animals a lot. And so it's always fun to work with them. And I just like taking care of animals. So that's been fun for me.
The first time I met you, I think you guys were in 5th or 6th grade, and you were doing it was science fair night, and you did one with your dog
Oh, yeah,
about
that's
different
right.
color balls. And I'm going, what a great science project
Yeah.
that is.
I remember that. Yeah.
What do you do at the shelter?
Well, just change bedding, change water, give food,
Walk.
walks. Walks is a very big thing. But it's a really nice place, nice location, and I work with a lot of mothers who have younger children, so they have not really free time. Actually, they don't have free time. I don't know where they get
No
the time
such
to do
animal as
this.
free time anymore.
Right. But they're very nice people to work with, so it's a lot of fun.
How about you, Sam?
Well, I'm also president of the class. So last year we had the junior prom,
Oh, yeah.
and myself and my fellow officers and myself, we really did a lot of work just planning and setting that all up together, and just the fact that it went on and was a success, that was really just happy for me.
And you're president again this year?
I am.
What are the highlights? What are the responsibilities as a class officer for the senior year that you have to be in charge of?
Well, there's fundraising to make back some money from prom, stuff like that, and then towards the end of the year, getting together class night and possibly another dance in the spring for seniors.
Okay. Not that you really have any right now, but what do you like to do in your spare time?
I don't really know. Do you want to answer this first? I can think.
I like listening to music or going out and,
Studying.
well, not exactly. I was going to say hanging out with my friends
Yeah.
and compadres.
Yeah.
I like to hang out with my friends too.
What about your compadres, though?
That just means friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Yeah.
Sorry, just being sarcastic.
That's fine. No, I like hanging out with a great group of friends.
Yeah.
And other than that, I like to go for walks, candlelit dinners, stuff like
Walks
that.
on the
No,
Aren't you the one?
I'm just kidding.
Now, in your 4 years in high school, the teacher who has made the biggest influence on you?
Mr. Massey.
How so?
Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, I wrote my NHS induction person about him.
That's right.
Yeah. And did you ask why? Do you want me to
Yeah, I
explain?
did.
Okay. Well, I guess basically because he's served, I don't know, been many different people when I need him to be. So when I was in middle school, he was good because he would just drift through the rehearsals and kind of be that force that kind of makes you go, ooh, maybe I should play my piece a little bit better. And then in high school, he's there saying, you got to play your part better. And then now he's still saying that, obviously, every single day. It's got to be better, which is going back to the thing. It's all about the process. It's never ending. But yeah.
Sam?
There's actually probably several for me. Among the top of the list, definitely, like Marie said, Mr. Massey, for just always constantly pushing us to do greater things and just to strive for excellence. I would also have to say Mr. Callahan and Mr. Keller. I had them in 7th and 8th grade, and those were really just fun but extremely educational years. I think because in 7th and 8th grade, you're going through that phase, and just really, I think, under their guidance, I really just developed as a human being really well. And I would also have to say Mr. Campbell. He was my freshman history teacher. It was a really tough class, but I really learned an exceptional amount in that about history and life.
Now we're just about ready to wrap the show up. So what is the greatest thing that has ever happened to you?
I guess you could count problems as being the greatest thing, because you can also learn from those. But
You are deep.
I don't really have one greatest moment. It's all, I guess, who I am is a compilation. How's that for a big word?
Good.
Of all my successes and failures, because they make me who I am right now.
Is this
Meeting your father.
that's true? Being on this cable show
Yeah.
ranks up
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
I'd probably have to just say living in Foxborough. Just I think there's so many great opportunities between the teachers at the public schools, the music program, for some kids, the sports teams, and just there's a lot of great opportunities. And I mean, it's a good town. We've got Gillette Stadium, but it's not a city, so it's still a suburban
great.
town. So it's just a good environment, I think, to live in.
Well, this has been a phenomenal, it's actually supposed to be a half hour. We went for an hour, so this was a great show, and I really enjoyed having you two, and I think anyone in the audience will, thinking about it, will love the show as well.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank
You're
you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to thank Foxborough Cable Access for having the show. Again, you can watch it on TV or on the web. And for Julia DeCanzio, Griffin Vacheron, Maria Nevedo, Sam Plasmati, I'm Rick Plasmati, and never be sharp, never be flat, always be natural.
Right.
Goodbye.